just starting this community call, which is really a great pleasure, and thank you for joining and being with us in this very good adventure. So it's already a very good numbers of community calls that we are organizing for all the OpenAIRE managers of the data sources that OpenAIRE collects content. Thank you for joining. So two main topics today, apart from some highlights from recent developments related with the OpenAIRE Provide service. And it's a great pleasure to have Eloy Rodrigues with us to talk about insights from the community consultation on the European repositories. I think we have some good information to share with you about this collaborative work and designing a strategy for the European repositories. And then also with our colleague Ellie. Ellie will tell us about a survey and present. I think it will be the first presentation about this service that will be, if it is not available already, will be available soon. This survey from the EOSC Fair Metrics in Digital Objects Task Force. This is the agenda for today. A quick overview, and then I pass the floor to Eloy to present these insights from this community consultation, and then to Ellie. Of course, after Eloy, you can have questions, and after Ellie presentation, we are going to also to have questions. So always in an informal environment. Two highlights quickly on the OpenAIRE Provide. So just to share with you that the content that we have available now in the different services, and for you also to check in the monitor of Provide is the content from the 7th of March, okay, the last update. Okay, so you can of course check in the website of the graph.openair.eu, but all the services now are populated with content updated in this date, 7th of March. Okay, be aware of that. Which for sure you also, those that have also subscribed notifications from the broker service, have received after the 7th of March the new notifications. We presented also last community call, because we just released it on the day before the last community call, but we are disseminating again the new badge for validated and for aggregated data source in OpenAIRE. So please use this new badge, OpenAIRE, indexed and validated. Of course, people can use the last logo if you want, but we are pushing people to use this logo. I think it's important that we also align, and you can also share that you are aggregated in OpenAIRE. So all the questions that you have, feel free to contact us. So we are always happy to support if you have any questions. And of course, at the end of the community call, if you have any specific issue related with any issue of the aggregation, validation, etc., please ask us. To find the badge, we can also share the link here, but you just need to access the there is a news item available in the OpenAIRE, but you just need to access the Provide dashboard, and you will have a button on the top right of the dashboard for you to download this new badge in different file formats. So feel free to use it, so you can find it directly in our dashboard. Later we can also provide different ways, widgets, something like that, but for now we have this badge in different file formats. Okay, these are the last novelties as we have this time. So we will stay with Eloy until 3 o'clock, and then we move to Ellie. Two different topics related, in fact, to understand the reality of the repositories in Europe, and also to define a strategy. Eloy, the floor is yours. So just do the presentation in the context about these sites.
Okay, Thank you very much. Thank you, Pedro and Andre, for the invitation. Let me share my screen. Okay, are you seeing my screen already?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Perfect.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So, good afternoon, everyone. So I will present about this action plan for repositories in Europe that it was a result from the consultation that was organized last year. The report this document was just published 2 or 3 weeks ago. You have I I will share I'll send the slides to Pedro and Andre so you can have the link for the document here. It was just uploaded to Zenodo. The document was public for already 2 weeks, but it was just uploaded to Zenodo this morning. But you have the link here. Just a very brief context on this. This is the last development of the joint effort between OpenAIRE Core, Libre, and Spark Europe that have decided in early 2023 to work jointly to develop a strategy for strengthening European repositories. And the first action from that resolution was a survey that was conducted in February and March 2023, and the results were published at the end of 2023. This report on the right side, current state and future direction of open repositories in Europe, that I will not present here today. But in fact, I already presented, I think about 1 year ago in another community call. I presented the results from this survey and this report. And on that report from the survey, there was we have identified 3 main areas of work. One was more policy and advocacy, this first one, so highlighting the value proposition for repositories. The second one was more on capacity building or support capacity building through propagating best practices for repositories in Europe. And finally, the third one was more around coordination and assisting with the creation and coordination of national networks. I'll be talking today mainly that report the impact-repo that was published and I present here today is the result of this first line of action of highlighting the value proposition of repositories. For the other two, I will not speak here today, but we are trying to identify some possibilities to do some funded work, so to try to apply for some funding to develop some of the work needed for the other two that are not only advocacy and policy. So for this first area, the 4 organizations have conducted a community consultation again in the autumn of 2024 to understand and to help us to better position repositories in the open science landscape. And from that consultation, and after digesting the results from that consultation, we come up with 4 narratives that aim to articulate the value of repositories in Europe, and they are condensed on that document that I'm not also presenting now. So the 4 narratives is making the case that repositories perform or are critical for at least 4 very important aspects. The first one is what we call repositories for impact, and in fact, there is growing evidence, and not only from the consultation, but also from we have many of us have that evidence from other activities that that repositories play a critical role on maximizing the impact and the reach of the research outputs and research results, far beyond, not only on the academic community, but far beyond the academic community, to be used by economic actors and the general public. By the way, let me stress this: the highlights or the bolds that I've included here are my own. They are not on the original document. I just want try to identify here what I thought it was the most relevant aspects. And for, as you can see on the document also, for each of these four aspects, we have we present a brief quote that we collected from people that have participated on the consultation on each of these aspects. The second area of critical importance for repositories is what we call repositories for inclusiveness. Repositories provide open access to their collections. The vast majority of the resources on repositories are open access. We know that there are some that are not, but the vast majority are open access. And this is very important to not only to allow to everyone to access that to that content, but also they also perform an important role for authors to be able to, if they want to maintain and publish in traditional venues, but having an additional venue that are the repositories to make the content and the research results openly available to many other groups, again, beyond the academic community and including the general public. The third case is what we call repositories for trust, and this is really very important when we see on this growingly commercially dominated world, where we see also some services becoming enclosed or bought by private interests. It is very important that repositories, as they are, most of them are run and sustained by long-lived academic institutions like universities. So repositories are academic-led infrastructures that are trusted by their communities, and because they are run and supported by those academic institutions, they are generally very well aligned with the values of scholarship and education, and they are not motivated by particular interests or by profit making. And finally, the fourth case that we wanted to make is that repositories are critical for innovation, and as they serve as the public face of generative AI, and we all know, and of course there are also some problems there, that repositories are being heavily used by AI service providers or people that are building AI services. But also as they support new publishing models, repositories act really as a kind of foundational food or an indispensable element for new innovations and progress in information to support research and science. So having made that four cases, then the paper has a call for action to institutional leaders, and saying that repositories should not be seen as a cost, but they should be really been seen as a very important strategic element for the knowledge infrastructure that we need, and so they should be really investing in repositories currently today ensures that each institution remain at the forefront of research excellence and relevance, and so repository should be seen really as a fundamental part of the university or research performing organization information infrastructure. And then we came up with these. We like acronyms, as you all we all know, and we came with this acronym, the impact-repo. So, and the idea is really to prepare our repositories for the future. What you call repositories that are resilient, interoperable, and AI ready, and to do that, we have identified seven of those pillars. One, of course, is the repositories should be interoperable. So interoperability is key. And for doing that, repositories must adopt open standards, persistent identifiers, and API-driven integration. The second one is that repositories need to be maintained and sustained with sustainable funding and with adequate staff. And so again, this is especially relevant for institutional leaders that repositories need to be need to have long-term investment to maintain scale and to modernize and enhance their activity. The third one, that repositories should be they should be ready for the AI age. So what we call powered by AI-ready infrastructure, and for that we need both at the level of metadata and also adopting linked data practices, facilitating text and data mining capabilities into repositories to structure that, to secure that repositories are really ready for the for a future where, of course, AI is really a key aspect. And the fourth one is the alignment with the institutional policies and the institutional research policies. So it is very important that repositories are not only a library service or a service that is running in kind of a separate world. It's really critical that repositories are really part of the research policy and strategy of the organizations. The fifth one is about networking and connectivity. So again, repositories should not work in isolation. So apart from the technical interoperability, it is very important also that repositories actively participate and in national and international, regional, international organizations and networks. So again, it's very important that repositories participate and promote this collaboration. And then the sixth one is about capacity and training of professionals, because it's really indispensable to invest in upskilling the staff for repository management and for this new era where repositories can play really a very important role. But to do that, we really need that repositories, not only the technical infrastructure is ready for AI, is that also that the staff working on the repository is really does really have the competencies and the skills and the knowledge to this new area. And finally, the last word of the acronym is resilient. And it is about security and cyber threats and technological changes. So it's we have been seeing a growing number of security issues, also worries about preservation and accessibility for the future. And this is another area where repositories are really critical. So this is, again, in a nutshell, what you will encounter on that document. And just to finalize what we are planning. So I think this is the first presentation that we are doing about this. We already have disseminated the document on social media, but we will organize at least one dissemination webinar, at least one that we plan to invite science journalists and so try to get some visibility to this. And also that will probably occur in May. We are discussing and planning to also to have an article on a highly visible venue on a magazine or journal. So we had not decided exactly where. And we have been also discussing the possibility of organizing focus groups on how to advance these actions, this impact-repo at national and institutional level, probably also sometime in the early summer, probably in June. But again, this is still being discussed. So, and with
Thank you.
this, I still have 5 minutes because I have
Yes.
another meeting, but I
Yes,
still
I
have
know that.
5 minutes.
Let's see if people have any question for you. I have one, but on any comment, any highlight. I think I really like the way that you did this work. I think it's good because it's quite easy to consume. The four main narratives area, and then the bullet points for the act now for each letter. So if you can you, like, if you have two priorities from the bullet points of the act now, Eloy, the colon act now related to each of the letters, let's say, what are the two priorities that you will elect? I know that there are a lot, and they are a lot of them are quite important, but can you select two that you think are more critical for this push?
I think it depends on if we are talking for a repository manager or if you are talking for institutional leader. For institutional leader, I would say, of course, the question of funding, maintenance funding. It's really very and the alignment with institutional research policies is critical. If we are looking at the perspective of repository managers or library directors, or people that are responsible for the operation of the repositories, I would say interoperability, but also the alignment with the institutional research policy. So institutional research policies and aligning repositories, institutional research policies will be a kind of an universal priority.
Yes.
And then I would say that interoperability and for repository managers and funding for institutional leaders will be the second one. But of course, we have come up with all this because we
several
think
bullet points.
all these are important, not just only one or two.
Okay, thank you very much. So Andrea already shared also the links, the proper links.
And
Irina also have two priorities.
Irina saved me of not having
Irina
questions.
also
Thank you.
has two priorities.
No, I just wanted to thank you for this report and say that we shared it in IFL's network, and I received feedback from my colleagues in Zimbabwe and Ethiopia saying that it was very useful for them as well. So it really is applicable beyond Europe, and thanks again.
Okay. Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Any comment? Brianna, do you want to share any comment? What is your priority, Brianna, for Serbia?
retirement, joking. Looking forward, but I'm still working for the next 1 year. Okay, our priorities for sure, how to keep all these IT persons. Because the battle for salaries are...
You said IT what?
IT people,
Okay,
people.
Okay,
how to
stuff,
keep them in this academic sector and all these things. So
yeah.
So it's upskilling and keep the staff.
Yes,
Keep the upskilled people and upskill others. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question? Any comment to Eloy? Then we need to Eloy need to leave to other meeting. Okay, so stay in touch. So this for sure we are going to have other opportunities to digest a bit these suggestions from this this report. Eloy,
and Pedro, let me just say, if you have any other ideas or suggestions, or now we can use this document. So apart from dissemination and eventually the focus group that we are planning to do. So if you have any other ideas, or if you want us to use this for doing some activities at a national level or something, let us know, and we'll try to interact directly with you. Okay.
Yes, I think it's this is I'm suggesting that. So I think this.
By the way, sorry, because I forgot to say, we have provided a editable version of the PDF because we are inviting people to translate the document into other language. By the way, we need to discuss that for Portugal. We didn't have the time, but we will welcome translation of this document to other languages too, of course.
Yes, in that 10 seconds, I will suggest that. So there are some people here in this community call and in our network that is also in charge of national networks. I think discussing this kind of output from in national network of repository managers, I think it's really good because it can properly run good discussions and involve decision makers also in this discussion. Eloy, many thanks for your availability.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. So thank you. And let's move to the next topic. So I think this was important. So you have the document with you, these insights. I think it's really great. And feel free to contact the authors, to contact OpenAIRE, and to also to run some discussions in your national networks or in the specific domains networks, let's say. My dear Eli Papadopoulou, are you with us? Yes,
I am.
You are. Okay, great. So let's hear about this survey that this week is just starting the dissemination. So share with us. I think all this work is important to have a specific idea about the landscape and the needs, etc. So what do you have? Do you have a presentation, or do you want to?
Yes.
Okay, do you want
I
to?
have a
Perfect.
presentation. Just a disclaimer, last night my laptop broke, literally. So now I am juggling with the laptop to make this presentation. So if something happens, it's not that I wanted to leave. It's just that the laptop.
Yes, it's not an Eli problem, it's a laptop problem, yes.
Yeah. So can you see now my screen? Can you see the slide deck that I have prepared?
Yes, just start sharing.
Now you can see the full screen.
Perfect. Yes, perfect.
Good, thank you. Thank you, actually, Pedro, for having me. It's actually the first. I don't know why it's the first time. I think the Provide call that I participate in. But good. I'm both affiliated with the Athena Research Center and OpenAIRE. With my affiliation with Athena Research Center, I'm co-chairing the Parametrics and Digital Objects Task Force from EOSC Association, together with Mark Wilkinson. And we have 2 deliverables until next year. So I'll share with you a bit of a background and what we are going to do with the survey that Pedro already mentioned. So let's go back to when we first, well, EOSC was first launched. There were 15 or more. There were a couple of task forces to work on specific themes for the EOSC realization. Mainly interoperability, fairness, and the key aspects of how to onboard services to EOSC, rules of participations, and so on. That's why they launched the EOSC Association for Metrics and Data Quality. This was the previous mandate by last year, to understand how what are the different tools that exist to assess fairness. What are the gaps that we find if we are talking about data quality, because we shouldn't, confuse metadata readability, machine readability, that FAIR stands for, with the quality of the metadata and the data. This is what we produced. We have some good knowledge now. Let's say we come with better knowledge of how some technologies and solutions like signposting, can work on verification, verifying digital objects. We come with some alignment suggestions on these FAIR assessment tools, so what they can do to have consistent results by consuming the same data sets. Because the problem was that they interpreted the FAIR metrics model different, so they had different results, and we are trying to harmonize it. And other things that you can have a look on your own time on the website. And as we did that, now we have a new mandate, and this is where I also step in as a co-chair with Mark Wilkinson. We have 55 members, and now the title you see is a bit changed, focusing more on the digital objects rather than the data quality before. And what we mainly target is to increase FAIR by design adoption and implementation, and enhance interoperability through the EOSC interoperability framework. Basically, we would like to see what we focus on repositories to see how they can share data, metadata through the EOSC Federation that currently is built. We want to understand how we can better reuse, how we can enhance reuse through licenses, through different practices inside our repositories. And that's why we have the first deliverable is on a survey on repository support for data level interoperability reusability, where we target repository managers like you to provide a report on the data reusability and provenance, policy analysis. Also, we're looking at machine actionable policies and metrics recommendations. And the next deliverable is a joint workshop on something completely different, the data spaces. The EOSC is realized as a research innovation data space. So there is a whole list, if you search it online, with European data spaces for different concepts and domains, like the health data space, like the cultural data space. So they all aim to harmonize things inside their communities, working on interoperability among others. And now the reason why I'm here is to, and this is, you were right, Pedro, this is the first time that we talk about publicly, and the first time we are presenting it also. So let me quickly go through what this survey is about. Of course, we would like to know some, to collect some information from the repositories to understand the type, their type. Is it a generalist like Sonoro? Is it domain specific like CDataNet? Is it thematic or national, institutional like any Dataverse, for example, or Invenio instance? Who is the hosting organization? Because sometimes we, outsource the running and the maintenance of the organization. Yes, and the data set volume, pretty much on an estimation of the data volume that this repository hosts. Because we would like to have an official response on behalf of the repository and the institution that the repository serves, we are going to have this survey as interviews. We are going to hold interviews with you if you express your interest, and others that we have already contacted. And we're going to have interviews primarily with repository managers, but we might need to involve you, if you want to take part in the survey, some other colleagues, experts, maybe on legal, maybe on technical things. If you're not the right person for answering this particular question. So we can also, have a, let's say, a focus group type of interview. Now we are looking at, technical, operational, and policy. These are the three main categories, policy aspects, and that's because our knowledge is that data repositories that come from research infrastructure that have, and that's to Biljana's comment, that has the capacity and the people to curate the data and the metadata, they present higher scores, let's say, on the FAIR of the data, not the metadata, of the data, the fairness of the data, because they actually provide this file in a readable way. So it's not the metadata record that you scan. You can also you assess, but also the data level metadata. However, we see that practices differ, again, because of known issues in more generalist and institutional repositories. So we would like to, because of lack of curation, lack of staff, so we want to better understand that and see how we can support, how EOSC could support it, and how we can, how we can increase the fairness, basically, and for all. And that's why for the technical things we're looking at metadata. If standards are used, I know that our community is using standards, so we are good with that. We're using, for example, this Dublin Core and other types of standards. We also want to understand how discoverable are these metadata from our material, from our deposits, from landing pages, and that's where the signposting comes in. Okay, because if you go to a landing page, there are certain metadata that you can find. So maybe we need to, enrich also our landing pages metadata. Metadata granularity and actionability, yes, we want to also capture where metadata, as this is what I explained before, where metadata are expressed. Is it for the whole record? Is it the descriptive metadata, as we would say? Or is it the data set that we have uploaded, the metadata for this data set, where we can see how we can read the file, you know, maybe more technical metadata from the resource, the technical resources that were used, maybe the time of taking this X experiment and so on. And we would like to understand if these metadata are machine actionable. So if they are provided together in the deposit as separate fields, or they are just attachments and possibly lost. Possibly lost from searching for them, right? And also the interoperability protocols that are used. I know that you all have OAI PMH for sure. So yeah, we basically want to see how interoperability is supported at the moment. Moving on to, well, staying at the technical aspects, we also distinguish between data and metadata to understand the types that our repository supports. If we support licenses per metadata record, or per collection, or for all of the content of our repository. So we are trying to understand these types of things. For reusability, again, licenses play a key role. If the license is machine discoverable, so if it's also standard, one of the SPDX standards that we are using. And also in terms of PIDs, what are the types that we support? Is it DOI? Is it handle? Is it something else? Is there a resolver for these items that we provide or that is provided by the community, like the DOI resolver? And also the granularity, where are the PIDs assigned? Oops, sorry about that. Let me go here. Now, and that was the technical. Now for the operational, we would like to understand the general metadata practices, how provenance is captured. And in terms of fair metrics, the only thing we would like to look at, because we extensively looked at things in the past, we now look at fair reusability and how the tools we use express fair reusability. For the metadata, we are asking questions like, do you use a validator to validate your metadata, against which standards, or what does it target exactly? Is it metadata that it targets? Is it fair, for example, validation? What is it about? Provenance, we're looking at whether version history or any tools to capture quality, provenance are used by the repository, and how this is collected and stored. Machine readable formats that may be available for metadata practices, like rock rate, that is a collection of different metadata records. If we if and to what extent our repository links or gives the ability to depositors to link their upload, their deposit, with different outputs that they might have elsewhere or in the same repository. And for example, and now I don't know what repository you have, of course, but for Zenodo, which I know, I can say that they have alternative identifiers, additional identifiers, or related identifiers. So they have fields where you can, during deposit, attach the PID or the link, the URL to another output, and also define the relationship that these have. So for example, if I'm uploading the data set, the relationship to the publication, and so on. Also, if there's feedback loops for enrichment, for enriched metadata, I know that Pedro, we have a broker, so provide sends notifications to all repository managers. That's very good. And for FAIR, again, it's how we handle FAIR, but mainly the R of FAIR. In terms of policy, we're looking at general rules and regulations. For example, interoperability, we ask about whether you follow the OpenAIRE guidelines or any other guidelines. If the policy is machine readable, any types of policies that are attached to the repository, like for the collection, for the preservation, for the withdrawal of the content, and so on. And also, if and how often, I think, if I remember correctly, we are we are in front of facing this GDPR, Cloud Act, data governance, and any other rules and regulations which might restrict access to metadata or data. So how often do we have questions of how I can comply to certain regulations, maybe for cross-national access also. And lastly, sustainability and EOSC alignment. I add here the link also to the EOSC Federation so that you see how it evolves. Have a look later. We would like to understand who is the managing organization, what are the user-supported preservation strategies, any measures like funding, collaboration with others, audits that are taking place inside the organization for the repository. And whether and lastly, what are your opinions on the current draft of the EOSC Federation handbook? Any challenges you foresee by checking it, and also what is your desired support? Of course, I know funding would be one, but also maybe guidance and community are among them. That was it for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's good to have this overview of the survey, but because also guide our mind into what are the critical areas of a repository. So feel free to ask questions. So when the survey will be open, available next week, this week, soon.
So this week, if not today, tomorrow.
Okay.
So
people
yes,
can check it via the website, and then you will disseminate in different
we
networks.
will send.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
And also via OpenAIRE. Okay.
Yes.
I have two other questions, practical questions. Do you want if there is a specific repository that is only for publications, you don't want this kind of repositories. You just want repositories that have
No?
that have data, hybrid, or so every kind of scholarly outputs.
Any type of outputs.
Okay,
because that's why we say digital objects. We don't specify.
Okay. And more we have catch-all repositories or hybrid repositories, but we still have in our community repositories that are really just for publications, let's say. But we also have repositories that are only for research data. Okay, perfect. So how much time do you think that people need to fill the survey?
That's a good question.
Do you have that timeline? So you need 15 minutes or something like that?
No. That's why it's an interview. So it's an hour slot talking to each other, and we are like the representatives of the task force are going to write. So you don't have to, you just need to talk. And we will collect this information, and then we are going to share it with you for review. And before we go to analysis. So that's the idea. The survey will run for 2 months, so until the 31st of May. 31st, yes? Yeah, 31st or 30th. Until the end of May. Yeah, and if you're interested, we will share everything with Pedro. Pedro and Andre will share it with you. And we can hold like, you know, an hour interview with you.
Okay, perfect. The last question is more a comment, because we do this kind of work, and I know that is an extra effort if we at the end we do a proper codified data set and of course anonymized data set, but it should be great if you can publish the data set before the results, which it will be good, because I suppose that if you have an alignment with some countries or these kind of things, I think it should be also interesting for additional explorations apart from the task force. So for sure, the task force, we need the results from the task force, but sometimes these kind of things is also interesting to explore in different venues. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So I suppose that there are people here in this community call that will be available to support you and to be one of the persons to be interviewed by you, for sure. Because there are really good cases. Okay, thank you very much, Ellie.
Good.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Any other comment for Ellie, or if not? Okay, Laura.
Thank you,
Comment
Pedro.
from
Hi,
Spain.
Ellie.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Laura.
Thank you. Just to mention that, you know, we can centralize all the information in Spain. If you need the help, we're going to be happy to do it, because we have the national aggregator and we have all the contact with all our national community in the repositories. And also we have some question that you mentioned before that we can provide it to you. So if you want to something in advance, we can provide it to you because we have it in our national collector.
Perfect. Thank you. That's what we want. Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. Hope you're well.
Yes, these national networks are, I think, are a good venue also to find some people apart from the OpenAIRE. Thank you very much. I think it was great to have these views, these insights from Eloy, and all this initiative from the task force of EOSC by Ellie. I think it was very good. So feel free to contact. Our next community call will be on the 7th of May, and I can confirm, Ellie, that May have 31 days. So it will be, if it is until the end of May, it will be on the 31st. So the community call will be on the 7th of May. Presentations and recordings will be made available as normal. So Andre is supporting this community call, and we will have everything available. Feel free to ask questions, so we have 1 or 2 minutes more. If you have any issue, any problem with the dashboard, any issue with the aggregation, validation, feel free to ask us. If not, be aware of that all the recordings will be available. I want to say something else. Okay. I want to say that also these community calls, we will have it every month, and it's great. But we would like also to start to have in some of our community calls use cases presentations. So counting with you to share novelties from your repositories or your national aggregators, things that are aligned with the agenda of OpenAIRE and that are best practices in terms of interoperability, in terms of fairness. We would like to start also highlighting your practices that are fully aligned with the agenda of OpenAIRE. So you can offer yourself to present the best practice. Just send an email to the help desk or directly to me or Andre. Or maybe some of you will receive a direct invitation from us to join in one community call and have a short talk, 5-10 minutes, just to share your good practices as a manager of a repository or responsible for a national infrastructure or an institutional service. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So we can close the agenda. Do not forget to receive the information from our newsletter and to stay in touch with us via the OpenAIRE social media channels. Thank you all.